There is no denying that the WWE product is hotter than ever. The word making the rounds is WWE's popularity has turned Netflix into a potential suitor for their content in the near future. Today, we'll tell you all about these rumors, as well as the latest news on WWE launching a new NXT Europe brand and the end of NXT UK, and the superstars we saw there as we know it. As good as Vince McMahon and his genius mind were for the wrestling industry for almost half a century, it's safe to say that the longtime chairman's retirement couldn't have come at a better time for WWE. Under new management, both in the corporate and creative fronts, the company has managed to spark huge interest and passion from fans and employees alike, to the point where we've seen amazing results much quicker than anybody anticipated. When it came to the corporate front, WWE was already showing some great results. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, there was growing concern about the company's TV product and profitability, with the loss of live audiences and all the revenue coming from touring. But not only did the company hold its own throughout the pandemic, by the end of 2021, WWE reported over $1 billion in profits, a ridiculously outstanding figure considering fans didn't return to arenas until the second half of the year.
Where the hell have you been?
With WWE's weekly show TV deal renewals from Raw and SmackDown coming up in 2024, these impressive financial results had already started drawing some interest from several outlets and media companies. But the arrival of a rejuvenated product since Triple H took over as the head of creative, which, as we mentioned, has helped spark the wrestling fan base, interest is as high as it's been in at least a decade. There's been more eyes on the WWE product for future business deals and alliances. Enter Netflix, the TV series and movie streaming giant, as one of the possible bidders for WWE's next round of TV deals. In the latest WWE quarterly earnings presentation, in which the company declared a $328 million plus revenue figure, Stephanie McMahon made an emphasis on WWE's improved viewership for both premium live events, formerly known as pay-per-view events, as well as their weekly TV shows. Co-CEO Nick Khan then brought up the upcoming television rights renewals for both Raw and SmackDown, which run on the USA Network and Fox respectively until September 2024, and how the pool of potential bidders has grown with the interest spike the company is enjoying. This is where Netflix came up. Khan said the company has long believed that Netflix's entry into the live space programming is a matter of when, not if, and that this was made clear with Netflix's bid for the rights of Formula One earlier this year. With how we are used to tuning into Raw and SmackDown every Monday and Friday nights on our TV sets, it's certainly strange to consider the possibility of watching our favorite wrestling shows on a streaming device. But with many of the biggest programs and shows drawing huge numbers on streaming devices, it isn't crazy to think WWE could follow the same path and end their legendary streak of the two longest-running weekly episodic shows in television history. Many people have already grown used to consuming most of their TV content almost exclusively from streaming platforms, but it's also true that airing on live TV also gives WWE a huge advantage. The possibility of drawing new fans is much easier. Everyone has access to TV, while not everyone purchases their monthly subscription to every single streaming service. Either way, only time will tell where WWE shows end up. But you can rest assured that if the money is right, the company won't be afraid to make a huge change and move their flagship shows to a streaming service for good. Speaking about big changes, WWE also recently announced the launch of a new NXT Europe brand. The idea is to build upon the success created with the NXT UK brand by expanding to scout talent and tour around the entire European continent. Alongside this news, we also learned that WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels was recently promoted to WWE Vice President of Talent Development Creative. This formally gives the Heartbreak Kid an executive position within their developmental system, as Michaels had already been working as the head booker and lead for both the NXT 2.0 and NXT UK shows. Michaels will continue to lead WWE's expansion into Europe with a brand new show called NXT Europe, which is expected to be very similar to NXT UK. Some key changes can be expected, however, as among plans for the brand's launch include the return of the legendary WWE European title belt, as well as a resumption of live touring and taping shows around Europe, as NXT UK had remained limited to taping on London's BT Sports Studios for almost 2 years now. While this is certainly exciting news for the European wrestling scene, the creation of this new brand unfortunately marks the end of NXT UK as we know it. We saw Bate confronting NXT champion Braun Breaker to close the special NXT Heatwave show after Breaker retained his championship, teasing a possible champion versus champion match in the very near future. According to several reports, these appearances and teases from the UK superstars were all done to start building towards the returning Worlds Collide premium live event, which has a similar dynamic to what happens with Raw and SmackDown at Survivor Series, where each brand's champions face each other to determine the dominant show. The report lists September 4th as the planned date for the Worlds Collide PLE, which will be just 1 day after WWE's anticipated Clash at the Castle PLE, and on the exact date of AEW's All Out pay-per-view event. This will mark the final show for the NXT UK brand, as the show will be taking a break until 2023 before being rebranded as NXT Europe. A few NXT UK superstars will become a part of the NXT 2.0 roster after Worlds Collide, but unfortunately for most of the remaining talent, they'll be released, as the company won't have any use for them without any shows running in Europe until 2023. Some of the confirmed names that were released as part of WWE's shift in a new direction include UK legend Trent Seven, the young and promising Zia Brookside, and former NXT UK Tag Team Champions Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. They, alongside 19 other NXT UK roster members, were officially let go on the same date that the new NXT Europe brand was announced. Early reports add that it's likely that we will see some of the popular names who were released back with the company once NXT Europe officially launches. But for the time being, we'll have to say goodbye and wish them the best in their future. WWE is certainly showing that they're not afraid to make big changes right away. So don't be surprised if we soon also get an announcement regarding Netflix or another important streaming service becoming the new home of Raw or SmackDown.